Hey, everybody, we're back. Joel and Casey. Casey's actually in Kansas City. That doesn't happen very often. And I'm gone half of the time. So I'm in Chicago, but it really just looks like a bunch of curtains behind me because it's a hotel. We had a really good topic for this month. I kind of wanted to coincide with, for me, the All-Star break because it's the 4 days off that I get during the season. And I could tell you, I was just talking to Dansby Swanson, who is the shortstop for the Chicago Cubs the other day. And we were just talking about what 4 days can do, whether you're a ball player, a broadcaster, or whoever it is, just to recharge. We all need that recharge. So the topic this month is self-care. I don't think Casey and I are going to get manicures and pedicures together anytime soon. I don't think. But it's interesting that both of us this month have said, we probably need to take a little better care of ourselves, watch what you're eating, doing all of that, but also just getting away from work a little bit. It's hard to do when you're in the grind, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Joel and I were just talking off air, making jokes about how we're not going to win any awards for being the two most physically fit guys in town, but we are focusing on it. I was just telling him a couple weeks ago, I finally did a corporate physical with the head doctor for Sporting Kansas City and all their staff, and it's got me energized and excited to take better care of myself because if you don't have your health, you obviously don't have anything.
Yeah, that's right. And I'm waiting to do the physical until I'm in a little bit of better shape so I don't get yelled at that much. But that's been an important piece to me over the last week or so, just eating better and getting out and working out on the road. It's hard to do during the season, but it is very doable. But I also wanted to talk just about getting away from work. You and I are lucky because your job in terms of building relationships and the work that you do takes you to a lot of cool places and you get to meet a lot of interesting people. I'm not suggesting that everybody's going to get to go on the trips that you go on. I'm not suggesting everybody's going to travel the country like I do, but I still find that those are the moments that really can recharge you and enable you to be more effective at work and at home, on a personal level as well. Tell me about the most recent trip.
Well, I got back yesterday from Montana. I was near Ennis, Montana. It was very last minute.
Do you have residence there yet?
Say it again.
Do you have residence there yet?
No. I haven't been to Montana that many times, but no, last couple of months I did a fishing trip to Ontario and a fishing trip to Montana last week. Both were pretty last minute things. The truth is they're both with clients though. And so I always tell my team here, it's like, I know it's one of the most, the oldest cliches in the book, but you work to live, don't live to work. And I know that's simple, but you got to take it to heart. And one thing that I've been good about, and anyone that knows Joel and I, we're both very passionate about travel. We love getting out there and seeing the world, and it gives us a better understanding of people. But I think there's ways to make that coincide. And not everybody can take big trips all the time, but I think there's a direct correlation between if you're in any kind of business development or sales role, and the more fun you're having with people, the more likely you are to do business together. So there are absolutely times that I get asked to go on trips that sound like fun that I decide to punt on because it's just old college or high school or grade school buddies. And there's other times where, it's a lot of fun and people think I'm just out there goofing around, but there's a direct correlation between doing business with people and having fun with them. So when my client called me, a week and a half ago and said one of the guys bailed on this 10 consecutive year fly fishing trip and asked if I could come along, it was a no-brainer for me. But I think you have to hit the reset button. And again, like I said, you've got to focus on living, the right way and not just spending all your time in the office all day, every day. You could do more with positive relationships than you can just sitting at the desk nonstop.
Yeah, I had a podcast guest that I recorded with the other day that'll be out soon, and he has a cottage, a lake home up in northern Minnesota. He's originally from Minnesota, now lives in Seattle, Washington, and we're already looking at if there's an off day when the Royals are at the Twins next year of just getting away for a couple of hours. And like that for me is what all I can do during the baseball season. So we were at Fenway Park, but we had an off day before we played at Boston. And I love Boston. I could spend days exploring Boston, but I needed something different. I rented a car. I went up to Portsmouth, New Hampshire, which is really the only piece of New Hampshire on the ocean, and just explored for the day by myself. Checked out some of the food, sat on the rocks on the beach overlooking the ocean, just reading. And just what that did mentally to bring me back was so huge. And then we went for the All-Star break, and there'll be more of this in my newsletter, to Fredericksburg, Texas. and we were just exploring. Let's go somewhere new. It's about an hour plus outside of San Antonio. I'm thinking, who goes to Texas to get away during the summer? But wine country and just a beautiful, different piece, and just to spend a few days there and see something different and rejuvenate. And sometimes the last point for me, Casey, and I'll let you wrap this up, is that, if you can't go somewhere else, just mix it up. I try every Sunday when we're home, it doesn't always happen if I'm running late, to take a different route, a longer route to the stadium, back roads. It's not that it's the greatest scenery, but it just mixes up the routine of getting on the highway and going to the same place. Sometimes just mixing things up can really allow you to be a little bit more mindful. And, you're lucky too with your job that you're seeing different types of people every day. You go to different places. You don't have to sit at that desk every single day. But if you do, find a way, at least my advice, to mix it up.
Absolutely. My wife and I, it's been 11 years ago now, moved from the Prairie Village area to Leawood. So Joel and I are neighbors in South Johnson County. And one of the fears there was getting into this sterile environment where you don't get too much diversity and the houses look the same and everyone's from the same demographic. My wife and I have made a very conscious effort since we moved there to not just stay in that bubble. We do take our kids to the different parts of town every weekend. We're going out and about. We're trying new restaurants. We're trying to see new museums. We're trying to see new things. So it's not just traveling outside of town.
Yep.
It's traveling within your own town too. I mean, I frequently tell people there's not a single place on the planet that I wouldn't go if safety, time, and money weren't a concern. I think the only way to expand your knowledge of different people, different cultures is go out there and experience it yourself. And quite frankly, that's one of the reasons I love Kansas City so much. I come home every time and I'm passionate about living here, but I've seen what other parts of the world are like. But it also, quite frankly, we live in a pretty affordable area compared to a lot of different big cities in the United States. And so being able to live here in Kansas City, we get the opportunity to go to the East Coast, go to the West Coast, and just check out different parts of the world. And it makes you more well-rounded and makes you understand how different people operate. And quite frankly, it makes you be able to communicate with everyone. And you might be distracted in the background. I've got the Olympics on right now, but that's one of the things I like about watching the Olympics is just seeing all the different cultures and countries and athletes compete from different walks of life.
That in a way is some self-care, just taking yourself away from the normal, the everyday. I love that you're including the kids with that as well. So encourage everybody in the midst of how hard we're all working, just try to check out little bits and pieces here and there, whether it's geographically or right there in the moment and mixing up the routine. Very important for the self-care. Or go get yourself a manicure, pedicure, facial, spa treatment, whatever. I guess we could do that, but we're not going to tell anybody about that one. Hey, whatever it takes to recharge is what we all need. Casey, good stuff. We'll see you. We'll do this again next month.
See you, Joel.